This session brought to you by Odyssey Games for pre-orders and sealed product, CCG Prime for tons of singles and supplies, Doggo for international rulers looking for products, and fowtlibrary.com for articles and wonderful deck lists, as well as our guest lecturer members King Pearlshine, Vite Ramen, Mognite, and Darren Noblock. Class is in session.
Yeah, that's most of this game's rulings, though. I don't like it, but I get it.
That's fair. Well, with that, hello everybody, and welcome back after a long week of Force of Will to your favorite ever live Force of Will podcast. It's Office Hours, featuring myself, DMI73, and I'm joined as always by Paul Reisman.
Hello, everyone.
And special guest lecturer member, Ryan Lilly, aka King Pearlshine, jumping from the chat into the chat. Hey, how's it going? Good to have you. Welcome. Say hi.
Hello.
There you are. I was like, I gave you an intro. Hopefully you're here.
I'm sorry, I waved. I didn't want to interrupt.
Well, we are here. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today. A lot of unexpected things to talk about today. But before we get started, just a couple of things. As we're talking about spoilers tonight, as a reminder, if you want to go check out Odyssey Games, they have pre-orders up for this new set right now. You can check a link in the description below. And also, if you haven't already signed up for the May 20th Discord event happening on Ruler School, why have you not? We need to give away these beautiful playmats that I want to give away to people. Like, come on. You want that Excalibur Death Size playmat. Let's go. Sign up. You can check a link in the description to go play in that. I know it's pre-release weekend. We kind of didn't really think about that when we first scheduled it. But we also know that there are a lot of people out there who don't have a pre-release that weekend. So hopefully you sign up. It's only $5 and you can sign up and try to take home one of those sick playmats. So, yeah, Ryan's going to talk with us about ABC format, which was completely out of left field. Like, legitimately had no idea it existed until it was spoiled. But we are going to go through some of the spoilers to get started, and then we'll kind of jump into ABC format from there. So we got a lot of electric cards to look at today, and then some old ruler support cards as well. So let's jump in. Sounds good, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Go. We have armed dog, 1-drop 4/4 enter. This card deals 400 damage multiplied by X to target J/Resonator, where X is the combined number of armament sub-rulers or high armament sub-rulers you control. If you control the high armament ruler, draw a sub-ruler, draw a card. Yep, that's a dog.
It has one effect.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a tempo red card, right? So, there you go.
Oh, it's also a beast, which means that with Perseus' call to action, it's free.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go.
We got it.
Love you, Mike.
Appreciate that. Love you, Mike. We miss Mike. Here we go. Next up, we have a longsword. Longsword certainly works very nicely with Doggo, which is a sub-ruler armament. J/rulers you control gain plus 200 attack. Upgraded J/resonators you control gain swiftness.
I hear Levitine the Demon Sword is pretty good.
As long as you can upgrade it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but like, I wanted this to be the high armament. So, I wanted the swiftness blanket effect to be the high armament, not just like, oops, the armament.
Yeah.
But, it is random. You do have to upgrade it. It's not just like, it feels, we have other things that just give blanket swiftness permanently for one. Like Road to the Flame King, right? That just gives all of your dudes swiftness. If you wanted to play like a permanent that just gives your board permanent swiftness, or you can play like a turn worth of swiftness with like, Sprinting Steward until it gets banned or something else like that. So like, I'm significantly less angry at this, being that it has the upgrade to get swiftness. But overall, it is still a pretty good card. Like, it combos well with Doggo, right?
Yeah. I'm just going to give your board a permanent +2 and swiftness. So is that good? Oh, you can't interact with that. Oh, great. So it's better than Levitin in some ways, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm good with that. I'm fine. This is an amazing armament. Immediately sees play in every armament deck.
Yeah, for sure. Hands down, going in every single armament deck. Which, to bring something from before the Babatunde is finally showing up. Hold on, we're gonna shift some stuff around. I had talked about Babatunde joining us, and now he's
ABC guest is here.
Yeah.
Right.
And there were 4.
Babatunde is here. Hold on. We're going to shift some stuff around here. We're doing it live. We're going to do this. And we're going to shift some
A
stuff
new
over
commentator appears.
here. And we're going to shift some stuff. This is what we do. Babatunde, good to have you. Just got to
Nice
kind of
to-
grab
nice
the
to
right
be
screen
here.
captures. Here. Let's grab Babatunde. And add him to the XSplit coverage. We're doing it live. Nothing wrong with that. And then we're going to do this. Desktop capture, smart selection. Grab Paul again.
All right.
Slide Paul down here.
Yeah. Oh god. Oh.
And then we shrink Paul.
Oh
Very
god.
Then we shift him behind the card. There we go. Okay, cool. Now we have all 4 of us on screen. Okay.
I am the longsword. Beware.
So I do want to talk about this. Ryan and I were chatting about this before. When you're determining how your sequencing is going to go for your sub rulers, do not just shuffle and draw from the top. Unless you're going to shuffle and draw from the top every single time you get a high armament. It is not a Magic Stone deck where you shuffle it and then just draw from the top until the bottom of the game. It is randomly chosen every time.
I would like to take a moment to say that I, Ryan Lilly, can in fact be wrong occasionally.
It's true. You need to go apologize to all of your locals who
Like,
you
all
played
those
with this
games
as a
I
proxy
won,
deck.
I cheated.
Absolutely.
You can definitely
and
not
the-
trust me.
And the reason why
Never.
that is it's the same reason what happened back during the Stranger deck. It's because specifically every single time is a unique choice. So every single time you need to redetermine the probability as opposed to determining a random order at the beginning of the game and then drawing from the top. So that's why we do that. Or you grab dice, which is what I do. But 7 is weird. So like shuffle and cut, draw the first one off the top, and then use a dice from there. Like that's fine. That works too. But there you go. So yeah, longsword, cool. Gonna go into every single armament deck, like auto include.
100%.
Next up we have Rapier, which is a J/resonators your opponent controls that were dealt damage this turn cannot block until end of turn, and when upgraded, J/resonators your opponent controls that were dealt damage this turn cannot attack until end of turn. This is neat.
I was sitting here staring at this one, feeling super greedy for wanting bow and arrow to be a global 200 damage like Sandstorm.
That's a little too greedy.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
this is
Rapier sucks.
That's a little too greedy.
Absolutely.
I will say this suddenly makes the 1-drop slots for like an aggro Electra look very heavily into like it's always going to include the puppets. Like that's obvious, right? But like a good mix of like the Doggo as well as Rushing Dinosaur, the 1-drop red dino that just pings everything for 200 every time it swings, because it already stops 1-drops from being able to block, but now it can stop anything from being able to block it. And so that's kind of big. Sanguine Arena, that's an interesting, Sanguine Arena plus
Good tech.
plus Rapier. There's some cool tech for it. Like this is one that like I don't think every Electra sub rule like uses it, but I do think there are certainly Electras that use it. Bob Tuna, what is your thoughts on Rapier?
You know, honestly, I'm trying to think of like I'm not an aggro player, so I'm really trying to like even
You and me both, brother. I don't know how to turn things sideways quickly.
Exactly. I'm just like, okay, that seems pretty cool. I'm more thinking like the other side, like, how do I stop this? How do I stop this from killing me? You know?
Quick cast resonators. That's how.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that I
you
can
know
Windia.
that if you take all of your cards and you pick them up and put them back in your deck box, you can keep it from killing you.
Fair
Oh, that's
enough.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. You know, technically any player can concede the game at any time for any reason. Like
I activate scoop mode.
There you go. Scoop face.
Yep.
Right.
There it is. Okay, next up we have the superior little beast. This is the armed weasel. 1 drop 0/4 gains plus 200 for every armament or high armament, against an additional plus 200 for each upgraded sub armament. So every upgraded is plus 4. Keep that in mind. And then you can rest a recovered armament or high armament sub ruler you control. It gains swiftness, precision, or first strike until end of turn.
I will say just this, having played the very basic bare bones Electra deck, when you get down to these small guys that like Armed Weasel and the Clown, they get very hard to track with all the small buffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You're going to have to really, really think about it. Individual damage calculation is going to be big.
The aggro deck gets hit for slow play because they're trying to do math.
Yeah. And then you do all that math, and then your opponent's like, Lumia. You're like, man, well, damn it.
Right. Didn't matter.
Good old ROL Lumia.
That's pure sadism. You let your opponent do all the math, take 10 minutes doing one calculation, and then you're like, I'm just gonna gain it all back.
No, that's the true sadism is in game 2 when you're up a game, letting the red player do that. Because you're just like, no, it's fine. Take all the time you want for that math. It's okay. You didn't reveal Rogue Spectator at the beginning of the game. It's okay. We're just gonna keep going. It's fine. I've done that, and it's not nice. Okay, let's talk about the last high armament, which for those of you who are playing Honkai Star Rail, why is this just the main character's weapon from Honkai Star Rail? But also the Devil Spear. J rulers you control gain plus 1,000 whenever a J ruler you control attacks, destroy target J/resonator your opponent controls.
After reading this one, I was trying to find a reason to play the black ones.
Oh, the Devil Spear? The sword? The Demon Sword is insane.
Oh, no, it's fine. But I like big number.
Oh, sure. I think
that's the meme. That's the meme for the night. But I like big number.
Yeah. I think for me, this is the high armament that like gets played when you're leaning into red Electra.
Yeah.
Right? Just like I think that the Demon Sword is the one that you lean heavily into when you're playing horror Electra.
Yeah.
Right? I don't see every single Electra deck playing this in the sideboard. But I do see the ones that want to turn fast playing this in the sideboard.
She's really weird because unlike most red-black decks in the past, she's not designed to be aggro mid-range. She actually has two sides. You can do like a control with the black half or go fast with the red half. It's really bizarre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love it.
Which is I mean, we've talked about this before in the previous cast, is Electra, now that we've seen kind of her whole kit. I mean, obviously we're going to see more when the full set list drops, but now that we've seen like the primarily portions of her kit, she feels very much like Olivia in terms of like deck building space, right? That you're going to have a lot of freedom in how you want to build her, which is just fine. And honestly, it's going to bring a lot of fun to it.
He's not blue, but I can pretend.
Hey, they just gave you some new blue cards over the past couple days.
It really did, actually.
I'm so excited.
Olivia Brad we started talking about it as a meme, but it might not be a meme.
Yeah.
It might not be a meme. That's Invitation to Purgatory might be a card that you need to go pick up right now. It's surprisingly good. Okay, I think we'll talk about the red Marvel Rare, and then we'll kind of talk about ABC stuff, because the rest of the stuff is kind of generic spoilers. So I do want to talk about this Lone Wolf of the Crimson Moon. Did not call Aristella being the one that gets the second Marvel Rare. I thought this was going to be a red-focused Marvel Rare for Electra. Nah, let's just give Aristella a second Marvel Rare. Cool. This is a 1-drop 2/2 with Swiftness and Pierce that gains +2/+2 for every moon entity you control. This card gains when this card attacks, it deals 4,000 damage to your opponent as long as you control 9 or more moon entities. When this card is put into a graveyard from the field, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a moon edition of any cost, it doesn't say, there's no limitation there. Literally any moon, put it into the field. Whenever a fire moon enters the field under your control, put this card from your graveyard into the field. Guys, Bloody Moon is suddenly going to be played again. Like, and not bad.
See, I read this card, and my brain immediately said, oh, look, an ISIS card.
Yes, correct.
I saw this and I was like, oh, red Kaguya has legs.
That too.
Yeah.
4 legs.
This card, I feel like, puts a lot of those decks on the map again. At least, like, if they're not going to be competitive, at least like a solid, like, probably like a tier 2 with all the support that's coming out. And I like it. I really do like it.
This is also just an insane card for, like, anyone who wanted to play Aristella Little Red.
Oh.
Mhm.
Callstone with Aristella. Play this. Swing. Hit a moon. Flip Little Red and swing. Like.
Yeah.
Big fact.
Sorry, what? Like. I do like how big of a hurdle it is, right? 9 moons. It's better than it was before in the fact that it's entities, right? So there's stuff that like gives your stones moon, or like, you know, we have things like Tsukiyomi Noble. So it's a little bit more sturdy than like Nyarlathotep's old, like have 9 moons.
Right.
And it's also more sturdy in the fact that it's not banished for cost. It's like just have them.
Just have them, yeah, that exist.
But I am glad that it is a specific whenever this card attacks. So like there's always a window that you can just be like, I can be ready to prevent it, right? Parry also is a card that I'm like, if you don't have your copies of parries, you need to be picking them up now. Like you need to go have them. Intimidate also hits this card, which is super important because it is a resonator, right?
Red Witch.
Red Witch can also impact it. Yep. I will say though, to speak to Red Kaguya, is that you can order this card and then Intimidate doesn't stop it because it's a J ruler and not a resonator.
Mm-hmm. Then it has flying and more stats because of more moons.
Yeah, because of more moons.
Card's so good for Red Kaguya.
They were just like, I know you're never getting Hanzo back, but what if Wolf?
Right.
Okay.
So we have these really handy moons, like Wind Moon, that just draws you a card when it enters, and Night Moon, which makes your opponent discard a card.
Didn't think about Moon Kaguya control with Red.
Yeah, this is a Fairy Tale Moon. Just gives your Fairy Tales +2/+2. Also just produces Moon for your Magic Stones. The First Moon to protect all your moon. Bloody Moon.
Jeremy said it already. You just said it. Anything that gives me an excuse to be a scumbag and play Bloody Moon is good with me.
3 Wolf Moon. More like 9 Moon Wolf.
Yep.
The new Light Palace. That just produces you more will.
9 moons and a single wolf. Just wolf. You see a lot of combo bannings coming along with this set. There's nothing that I can think about with this card that makes me think it's like combo ban. Like this card is going to see combo bans. Like maybe Bloody Moon. Maybe.
And maybe.
A dedicated, very linear turn this card on deck could get this on by turn 3 or 4 realistically, but you're not going to get the 9 moons super easy.
Yeah, I think like the only thing that I find would be obnoxious would be like Bloody Moon, but like the times that it would be obnoxious would be like a deck that just has to hope and high roll that you hit Bloody Moon. Like we already have a more consistent deck that can get Bloody Moon out on turn 2 and it's fine. Like, you know what I mean? So like an early hyper, cheat in Bloody Moon from this deck is not something that I'm like concerned about because you'd have no way to like set it up really well. So it's like, it's fine.
Yeah, you need like Arthur setting the or laying the foundation to like put it on top so you get it every
And then
time.
it'd have to be laying the foundation or like a Cheshire Cat or something like that, right?
I mean, we could see this in like Deus Ex, maybe.
Sure.
Right?
I can see it maybe it saves it. So you like know if it's on top or not, so you know whether to commit, right? I will say one thing that's interesting about speaking of cards that's probably going to see a lot of combo bans. I imagine at least probably two is Scent of a Fairy. It's certainly going to get combo banned with
Absolutely.
Melfi.
Absolutely.
like
Oh, yeah.
immediately. Or they just hard ban Melfi, right? Which like I honestly could see. Like she's had her time, which would be sad, but like that might just also save them a bunch of time to just hard ban it.
As long as they leave Soul alone when it comes to Lingering Centiferes. That's
Look, if you want to get a basic white stone, you go right ahead, brother. Like I'm not gonna stop you. Yeah. So this is a cool card. Okay. So with that out of the way, hey guys.
Yes.
I would say that I'm rather well connected in the Force of Will world.
Okay.
Specifically, I would also say that I'm rather well connected in terms of with the company. I get some insider information every now and then. Do you want to know what happened this week that I literally had no idea was happening or was ever even a consideration?
What was happening, Jeremy?
An entire new format.
Well,
already been chewed format.
Oh man.
Literally had no idea that this was coming down the pike. I was playing a game with Jordan, and we're in between games doing some sideboarding, and he's just like, hey, yo, new format just dropped. And I went, excuse me, what? There you go. So this is, if you haven't already seen the news, this is Arcana Battle Coliseum format. It was designed from the idea of having a more casual environment, specifically their essential take on epic stories, that idea, that multiplayer singleton format, and it is very, very interesting and honestly very, very cool. I'm just going to go over the details of it and then really turn it over to Ryan and Babatunde because they have a lot that they want to say about it. So the whole idea of a Arcana Battle Coliseum format is designed to be a casual format. It's designed to kind of really be open and flexible, but they keep a lot of things in check by the deck building restrictions and some of the mechanical elements of it. They recommend 4 people. The deck building is always 60 cards. You start with an Arcana ruler, and then here's the limitations. You have to have exactly 60 cards. You cannot have cards with no attribute, and you are color locked to the colors of your Arcana ruler, and they're all 2 colors. You may have a main deck of up to 4 ruler cards in them. Yes, you heard that right. Rulers in the main deck. Exactly 20 cards of cost 1 or less. Cough, cough. There's only 1 cost cards. There's no cards of cost 0 that aren't void, which are then not allowed. Cards has to have at least 15 cards of total cost 2. Must contain at least 10 cards of total cost 3 or more. Magic Stone deck cannot have a Magic Stone card with a printed will symbol other than the printed will symbols on the attributes on the starting Arcana ruler. So like no 6 Sage Stone, no Magic Stone of Knowledge, that kind of stuff. You have to keep to just being able to only produce your 2 colors, which, by the way, you will always have 10, like at least, I think it's 12 for deck building. Stone-wise is 12. You can have 12 dual color stones. Like you can just have perfect will. It's just a matter of like what other bonus abilities you want to get. Not a problem. There is no energize. First turn player also draws a card. Initial life is 6,000. And then the biggest thing is a race to the finish style game where everyone is trying to race to the finish of kill an opponent or score 3 winning crystals, which is by putting a J ruler into the field and attacking your opponent for at least 600 battle damage with that J ruler 3 times. You can only target. There's a lot of differentiation in the CR that talks about like what your opponent refers to, and in a 4-player game, your opponent always refers to, in some variation, the player on your left or the player on your right. You can't ever target someone who is, or their stuff, who is 2 seats away from you, if it refers to your opponent. So, and then there's this ability called Convoke, which is how you put rulers from your hand into the ruler zone, and they can be attacked essentially just like a planeswalker could be attacked in Magic. So they're not just safe just because. And then the rulers are all the same, using cool old Valhalla artwork. They'll have the same abilities, they're just in the different color combinations. So, yeah. That's just a thing that Force of Will was like, here you go. Thoughts, gentlemen?
So that was a lot that you put on paper. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's all right. Go ahead, Baba.
Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Babatunde, you're going first. Go.
All right. I mean, obviously that was a lot that you read off there, but obviously everyone's getting, commander vibes and everything like that. I do like the unique spin that they have, especially when it comes to like the rulers, like being able to cast the rulers from deck and everything like that. I think it's a little weird. I think really before like having like heavy like review or criticisms, I guess you could say, I would like to see it in execution. Just like an actual game being played. I kind of don't like the whole like, I have to attack the next person instead of just like kind of attacking.
I think I was thinking about that a lot, and Ryan can speak to this a little bit more too. Is the flow, the focus flow of like, you only attack to your left, you don't attack anybody, you can only target to your left or your right, you can't target 3 seats away. To me, it creates a overall more balanced game flow where you don't get like all of this like diplomacy and like negotiations and stuff to like, oh, I'll do this for you if you do this for me. Like, you have a dedicated target. Like, everyone has like someone they're trying to go for. But I also think that because everyone has someone specific they're trying to go for and there's no overlap, it prevents like sneak kills. It prevents like ganging up on someone in a way that's like unfun. I mean, like, there's very clearly that you can gang up on some people in terms of like, but it's more like to keep them in check as opposed to like, we're just going to take advantage of this one person, right? Naturally, because there's no real benefit to trying to take advantage of someone that's far away from you, because like they're not your target. So like, I'm not going to help someone else to try to like make them weaker for you. It's more like to try to keep us all kind of like, at least in terms of, in my brain, keep us all kind of like close together in the pack, which I like, because that's the one thing I also like, that the fact that it's race to the finish and the fact that games will actually just end.
I was gonna say that, and that part, when when you read that part, I was like, okay, actually that makes a lot more sense of why, I just have that person that, I'm targeting, because at the end of the day, I'm just going for points instead of actually just trying to kill them in particular.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's fair. Right? With all that,
and it does say, Alejandro, you're right in the fact that like a person two seats away from me, I can target their additions. I can target their resonators. I just can't hit them. Right? So I can still like can keep them contained. I just can't hit them, which I think is fine.
Well, we can't
and the fact that
attack them, so we can still kind of use other cards to kind of still do damage as well. I think, right?
Yeah, but you can't like target them with a thunder per se, right? Because it says your opponent, and so they're too far away from you to be able to be deemed your opponent, right?
For anyone confused, if you're looking at the screen, assuming we're all players, Paul is an opponent to me. Jeremy is an opponent to me. Babatunde is just another player at the table.
Correct. So, like in this same sequence, right? Ryan could attack me, but couldn't attack Paul in terms of like battle damage. I could attack Babatunde, but not Ryan. Babatunde could attack Paul, but not me. Paul could attack Ryan, but not me. However, I could cast stuff to mess with the boards of all of them, same like them, but I could use stuff that targets my opponent at Babatunde or Ryan. So I'm like narrowed in terms of that focus. So again, it's a lot. There's like natural elements to the deck building and the gameplay restrictions that kind of keeps us all involved until the end. Because I have played in games of Commander where like someone just high rolls and knocks a player out, but then the rest of the game takes 3 hours. So like that one person is just like, well, guess I'm here. I'll pull up my Nintendo Switch and play a bunch of games while I wait for my friends to be done. Whereas this is like, oh, well, the game's over. Guys want to play again? Right? Like it's a lot easier to like get engaged with and kind of pick up. The other thing that is very different about it though is like you do need to randomly determine player order every single time because like that has a big impact on game flow. But that's okay. Like you can do that, right? That's easy to do.
Just play musical chairs.
Yeah. Or roll dice.
No dice.
Ryan refuses to bring dice to a game that actively requires dice at all times.
He actually puts counters on his stuff that have +1/+1 counters.
Exactly. I used to play Pokemon. I got the little cardboard pieces. No, I'm kidding.
It's all the peripherals from Battle Spirit Saga, just chilling in a bag.
Yep. So I did get online yesterday with 2 guys from my local scene here, but 3 actually. We played 2 games. One 3-player game, which was much more violent than the other one because we were all each other's opponents, being that there wasn't an island.
Yeah.
That game lasted about 30 minutes, and we all lost to the Lumia-Raymond combo. Yeah. And, yeah. Then our second game, however, lasted almost 4 hours. I wish that was a joke. We had 2 of the green-black rulers, the white-blue one and the white-black one. And the white-blue one ended up taking the game by having Brunhild and Flute and Olivia and the Arcana out at the same time. Yeah. So aside from trying to remember what all is in the pile and Untap taking forever, you could probably cut that game down to 2 hours. But
okay,
45 minutes is iffy.
This is a good question. Rustin. How would the ticket situation at FowFest work for a game where only one player is the winner? And so here's how that would work. First off, there would still be a time on round. It would probably be a longer time. We'd probably determine probably about 90 minutes for a round. And the side, we already kind of talked about this. So the side events for ABC format, because I absolutely want to host side events at FowFest for ABC format. Instead of an 8-person pod, it's a 16-person pod. And so it will cost a little bit more money, mainly because it's more players, but it's also like you're investing more of your time. So like I kind of want you to you'll pay more, but you'll get more for like committing that amount of time, right? So it'll probably be like 10 prize cards for $25 to sit down as a part of a pot of 16. We'll do 4 games, and then the winners of those 4 pods will play in a game, right? So then what it is, it's just 2 rounds per side event of ABC format as opposed to 3, right? And so it'll be, 10 for playing and then like 35 for winning it. You'll get 10 for playing in the first round. If you make it to the second round, you get like another 10, and then you'll get 30 for winning the whole thing. So it's still that same, like maybe a little bit more, but like top end pricing will be different, but it'll be 16-person pods as opposed to 8 for FowFest. So trust me, we've already been thinking about it. Because like
pricing structure is not finalized.
Yeah, not confirmed. But it will be worth your time to participate in it. It's definitely going to be like 2 rounds. And it'll be structured for pricing to make up for the fact that it's only 2 rounds. And I also think it'll be a lot better than like the Epic Stories ones because we are going to have a time on round. And the beauty is because... So here's the interesting thing, is you can have sudden death in ABC format, I'm going to tell you right now, is that you can have sudden death because every person has one person they're trying to kill. So it's very easy to determine at sudden death if no one is dead who's the winner. It's highest remaining life total wins, and then if it's a tie, which of those two players has more winning crystals?
Yeah, hopefully we
very
don't have
easy
a 4 or 5 hour game. Rustin knows.
Yeah,
like
for
an
sure.
epic story.
Yeah. So it's very possible. I'm left with really one question for ABC format, purely from the perspective of looking at the demo decks and the fact of two pieces of information. So the post about ABC said that it follows all the rules of Wanderer except for a couple of deck building restrictions. But then the CR for ABC has a ban list of 4 cards, and none of the sample decks have any cards that are currently banned in Wanderer.
Yeah, the little CR for ABC also doesn't specify that those are additional banned cards.
Yeah, it just says
Right.
ban list 4 cards.
Yeah. Although I will say the ones that we built and played, just don't count on playing the broken ban things from Wanderer because you might not be allowed, but we don't know yet.
Yeah, I will say though, like the interesting thing is demo decks. Actually, that's pretty cool. I'm going to be trying to see if at Worlds if they will hand me some extra copies of the demo decks for ABC, because they did say in the most recent video that the side event for Worlds is going to be ABC format. Like there's going to be ABC side events at Worlds, and that they will have demo decks for ABC at Worlds. So I'm very much going to be trying to get some of those. And we're going to see about maybe if we can stream some side event stuff at Worlds here on the channel, or if we can record stuff of ABC from Worlds here for the channel, because they are handling because that's what we're going to try to get content for while we're at Worlds.
I'm really hoping we get pre-cons for these.
Can we talk about the fact? Can we talk about this? We haven't had any news for a while about the Wanderer reprint set.
Yeah.
But then they come out with this format.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about how if they made ABC starter decks, or like an ABC like battle box, where there's your 10 Arcana rulers plus all these cards, like what a genius product design that could be, right?
It's a good way to accidentally have old Wanderer support.
Yeah, it's a good way to be like, oops, Wanderer reprint set by making it an ABC battle box. Like that'd be sick.
Dope.
They just pull the wizards and sprinkle some exclusives in there for good measure.
The rulers themselves, like I'm buying it for the rulers, like I'm fine with that. But also like do it like the Vingolf 3 style magnetic box, and like come on, gimme. Demo decks, the demo decks, example decks are on the Facebook page, or the post on the website. You can scroll down and they have 5 of them.
They are playable. Very playable.
They are very playable. Robert Green, if we were doing quick firing events like we were doing Sunday, maybe do knockout order prizing. I know some commander events would do that. The problem is there's no knockout order. It's once one person is dead, the game's over. Yep. That's why we have to do it as a structure of like a little bit more for just participating, and then like 2 rounds really quick. Yep. So
I will say one more thing on the note of everyone starting and finishing at the same time. Normally, if I've got my back against the wall and I know I'm going to lose, I'm going to try to find anything I can do to kill myself. Don't do that. A horrible idea in this format,
because you'll just give the win to the person on your right.
Exactly. In this case, if I were to kill myself, Papa Tunde win.
Congrats.
Yeah. So whoever did the last turn, it's.
I will say this
from doing that.
I will say this, it's very interesting in the fact that, like, in Epic Stories, every deck is essentially 5 color because everyone usually plays a backup ruler that's 5 color. The fact that this is the fact of the weird targeting kind of rules and the directional flow of combat, and that you can only ever be 2 rulers, and that you have to find rulers, surprisingly makes a bunch of cards that you think would be good not good. For instance, I built the first deck and I was like, cool, I'm going to play Feasting and Carlina and like all these banned green-black cards. I was like, great. Honestly, terrible. Like, Carlina's bad because you recharge her once every 4 turns. And then like something like Severing Winds is also terrible because you're like, man, I've got this one cancel for 3 opponents worth of stuff. It's not great. Like, you need like recursion, which is why I'm playing Asuka. So I can contract and reanimate a bunch of stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I'm very excited about it. We're going to put videos up for it on the channel as soon as we can. As soon as we find out more about the Wanderer ban, like the official ban list for it. Yeah, it's going to be, this is my last point about just this format in general is we've been talking about how I Spy has been making like really good decisions and some hiccups, some mess ups for sure, but then like quick to try to turn around and like improve and make a correction or something like that. And so there's always been this thought about like, well, I Spy is a smaller company and everything else. The fact that they went out of their way to make a format like this that feels very flushed out and well thought out, plus design potential new product for it, plus host it at Worlds, on top of the fact that Wanderer has been knocking it out of the park lately, is a big boost to consumer confidence for me, right? Like, dang. Like, it's this is not just something they just threw together. Like, this feels very well thought out. And it's just very, very cool.
So my thoughts around this are more about new player accessibility because I mean people who play Magic know, but if you've never played Magic and have no idea what's going on with the Magic world right now, Commander is by far the most popular format for casual play. It is popping off like crazy. There's demo decks everywhere. If you want to start getting into Commander and having a multiplayer good time, that's the way to go. I know that there are a lot of people who would benefit from, instead of 1v1 play, having that like multiplayer experience is going to go a long way to making them enjoy the game more, because they don't necessarily have to worry about all of the sequencing and the high tier like how do I manipulate the chase to get what I want sort of stuff, right? They don't have to worry about that. They can just sit down with their friends and have fun, right? So I'm hoping, like you said, that there's actual like ABC decks, that there's like Wanderer reprints, that they include rulers from the past so that you can just pick one of these up and just play. And I hope there's one for every Arcana ruler at some point.
Yeah, I really do. And they did make mention of the fact that future Arcana rulers might be printed, which will be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
Like, because these first ones are all like the same, right? But you could do like slight variations on these very, very easily without breaking stuff.
I can only imagine the chaos of 3 to 5 colors.
I don't want more than 2. I like the 2 color
Agreed.
deck restriction personally, because then we're just playing epic stories, and I'll just play epic stories. But like, limit me to 2. It's fine. Okay, back to spoilers.
Yes.
We're shifting to generic cards here. First up, we got the Explosion of Magog. 1 green, quick cast, destroys target magic stone your opponent controls. Your opponent puts the top card of their magic stone deck into the field rested. Awakening for white, this card your opponent banishes in addition. Awakening for red, deals 600 damage to each something on both sides of the field. Awakening blue, draw a card. Awakening black, your opponent discards a card.
All I have to say is that this is a one mana card that destroys a magic stone. Eventually they're going to run out of magic stones, even if it replaces itself.
Yeah. I'm not sold on this card.
My brain went straight to scumbag strategies, whether it's good or
I
not.
mean, sure. Let's go to hold on. Let me just pull up. Hold on. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and pull up my entire chat history with Ryan and see the number of times that he has suggested some kind of scumbag deck. I've told him it won't work, and then he comes back to me a week later and he's like, "Yeah, it doesn't work." I was like, this card is interesting to me. I if it didn't have, I don't know, like there's a deck probably that runs this and like tries to do some stuff if we have like a really heavy hate deck. I will say though that there is some very interesting applications for this about like decks that are abusing Magic Stone of Rain, or like using this against Funf to take away Blessing, or like there are applications for it, right? But it definitely doesn't feel like I know what the deck that would main deck this card is. It feels like a deck that you would side deck stuff, right?
It feels to me like I'm playing Speaking Stone at 4.
Does Speaking Stone have... oh, yeah, the green.
That has barrier.
That's
the only stone that has barrier.
Sherry, baby.
Yeah, Explosions are great against decks that want specific stones. Yeah, and greedy stone bases with, forcing them. That's a thing. Forcing stone decks to run on, like, be stuck on their Moonshades. Like, that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's an
Or
application.
just pop their Moonshade. You could also do that. One of the things I didn't think about...
I'd make them pop their other stones so that they have to pay for the color if they want it.
I mean, whatever makes the most sense in the game state, right?
This is a good ABC card. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
this is a great
absolutely.
card for ABC format.
This is an ABC card. I would also say this is interesting in interactions where your opponent has done Awakening of Guru's Ballista to make all of their stones into resonators, but they're still magic stones. That's really interesting.
It messes with Institute decks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could potentially hit one of their duplicate, a stone that they only have one of, and force them into a duplicate, so you decrease the buff. Although I'd rather just shoot the Institute at that point, but yeah.
Yeah. I think this card shines in the future when we have more pivotal magic stones that do more like really important things for decks. This feels like, hey, we're gonna like give an answer to stuff that we're gonna release in the future because we want to rely more on magic stones doing cool things with certain rulers. I could see them maybe doing that. It's also our second ever stone destruction card. So
we've had more. Bloody Moon, Athenia, World Flame Summoning, Explosion of Magog is this one. Civil War and Solari. This is our most like.
Okay.
This is our
Hades.
most like Hades. This is our most like
accessible,
universal stone hate card.
Let's say we've also had Ruined Earth.
Ruined Earth. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Ruined Earth, yeah.
Yep.
Classic.
Yeah, the only like scumbaggy thing that you can do with this is that you can pop your opponent's stone before your recovery phase, so that the will they will float will then vanish as you go into your main phase, right?
Yep.
So that's like the best use of this card.
It's really fun watching I Spy do what we can only assume is future proofing, because we're not used to this game doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like, this card feels very future proofed. Like, I don't really know what we would do here.
I can also see an application where you're in a situation in which you play this card to make it so that your opponent doesn't have a recovered stone as you go into their turn and just quick cast a bunch of stuff in. There's also that, I guess, but
yeah, they just float the will in response though, and then carry it through to the main phase. Like,
so
tap down stuff against your opponent has never worked in FOW.
It's true,
because the recovery phase has a priority sequence after it.
You can also do it at end phase, and then like you go into your turn and they have less will now.
Yeah, that's true. That's another option. Yep.
I still think it's like a 6 out of 10. Like it's okay. It gets better over time probably, but it's don't sleep on it. Like, it's a good card. But
we need new ways to interact with stones, like the new Sunstones. Yeah, Magic Stone of Rain. Yeah, like I'd use this against Magic Stone of Rain.
The sure. Olga Stone, which just also
Olga's not really playing that, but like I'd also do it against like Stone of Death, like to mess with or like Stone of War.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely,
there's certainly applications for it.
Yeah.
Talking about a sideboard card, this is Kirsten Magog. 3-cost quick cast. Pay 1 void less to play this card for every card your opponent has drawn this turn, meaning it's always at least 2, or at most 2, at least during your opponent's turn. Until end of turn, if your opponent would draw 1 or more cards, you draw that many cards instead.
Oh, it says instead.
Yep.
I think the first time I read it, I almost felt like you were
both of us are drawing those cards.
It's Maxi.
Like you're drawing it with your opponent, so it's like cool.
Maxi challenge.
Yeah, Maxi challenge, exactly. I was like, oh, okay, cool. We got that in this game now.
Maxi challenge. Forbidden Malice plus this. Just like,
Yeah. I read this card and I'm like, this is neat. I probably won't ever play it, but it's neat.
it's a sideboard
right.
card for sure. Like, it's a sideboard card. There
It's
are
a
certainly
it's
decks
definitely a
that just
sideboard
like
card.
draw a million cards. Like, it's really good against Hyde, right? Because like they're gonna try to do like Rusty's Fox to draw 1. Like, cool. Well, you already drew for turn, and now you've Rusty Fox. So when you go to cast your Spider to draw 7 cards, I'm gonna go ahead and pay 1 for this and draw 7
Absolutely.
cards. Like,
Or just when they declare that they're going to contract, and you're like, cool, casting Curse of Magog, that can resolve. You have to put all your
Yeah, for
hands,
sure.
and then you get nothing.
they're
right.
just like,
That's all the cards, dude.
yeah. Yeah. This card has some definite sideboard applications for sure. And your opponent can choose not to draw. Yeah, for sure. But then, like, you've still served your purpose at that point.
Right.
Like, next up, we have the end of the. This is the suite of Fow You Okay card arts. So we have the end of the False Savior quick cast. This card deals X damage to target J/Resonator, where X is the total attack of all other J/Resonators you control, or all the other Resonators other than this card. If it does, and this card was awakened, it deals damage to your opponent equal to the damage to the chosen equal to the damage dealt to the chosen target, and the awakening is 1 white and 1 red.
I just want to say this card, number one, it hurts to look at and read because I feel pain for some reason. But it also gives me like big Grim Cluster Jeanne d'Arc vibes. Like Nameless Girl. Yeah. It feels like that kind of that style
It's
of
the
lore.
it's about every 2 years we get some kind of Volga combo card. Where it's like, I'm gonna burn my own stuff to burn you, right? We always get something, and it's been about 2 years since the last one, because the last one was in Saga Cluster, with
Arlie
Fox with Arlie.
Yep.
So it's about time. It's about time.
Yeah, it took me a minute to realize that this was actor dry on a execution style roulette table, getting knives thrown at him, and he lost.
Yeah, no, like I'm saying, Val, you doing okay?
Interesting.
Val, you doing okay?
Did not see that.
They made him out to be a very good martyr.
Yeah. And next up, we have the Last Believer. 1 cost 2/5. When this card is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to your opponent.
It's Volga.
Hey, look. Every 2 years we get a Volga. This is just Volga 3.
This is a much better Volga though, because it only costs 1 mana.
And it's a human.
And it's a human.
So the interesting thing is, you can technically, if the board is wide enough, you can do Dexia's advice, Awakened, and grab the Last Believer, and then pay 2 additional will to kick the Awakening of that burn spell card. So you can pay 5 and just be like, you're dead. Whee! It's bad. Don't do it. But like,
I don't
because
even
you
think-
specifically
don't
have
even
to
need
successfully
to-
deal
Somebody
damage.
try and let us know how it goes.
Yeah,
I
because
was gonna say somebody's gonna try anyways. It's not even even if you say it's bad, it's just like I'm just gonna do it anyways.
Did you see the meme from last week? Jeremy saying it's not gonna happen. Roderick trying to make it happen. It's a cool card. It's another Volga. I don't really have anything else to say about it.
Right.
Let's talk about the card that is Paul's going to talk for hours about if I don't stop him, which is the Last Movement. 1 blue plus X music as the same X alternative cost. Return X target non-Magic Stone, non-Jade Ruler entities to their owner's hands. Did you know that you could just pay the alternative cost by removing 0 cards in your hand and have a free Melody 1?
Mm-hmm.
Because I did.
Yeah.
Now you have
And-
Einsatz and this, so you can just for free be at Melody 2 when you're ready.
Yeah.
Plus Loki's Enter, plus rewriting laws. Like, someone likes me. That's all I gotta say. Someone likes me.
This also works really good in Welser.
Yes, it does.
I also think that this is the kind of like removal that Vier was like sorely lacking, because a lot of her good removal was like mid startup she could remove stuff. She can't just like deal with a board single-handedly. And like the amount of cards that Veer draws, you could very easily see her playing the Brad package. And then she has this, and she's like, cool. I can either use it to rev up the combo really fast, or I can use it to answer what you're throwing down. And so this is a very cool card for sure.
I'm trying to remember. I think there's a better board wipe card for Veer, and it's in her suite of stuff, right? And I'm trying to remember what the
Constriction, right?
It's not. Well, I mean, Constriction is also okay.
It hits the board for 1,000 attack.
I'm talking about Melody of Rain, where if you're 4 or more, like based on the based on the board state, based on what your melody count is, you put that many cost things on the bottom of the deck.
Yeah.
Instead, so if it's X4 or higher, then you get to do that. Which is really funny to do to all get players, by the way. Just get rid of their Magog. And then they're like, crap, I played Sword. It just gets removed. I think Melody of Rain is probably just a better remove spell, but I mean, again, it's the last movement. The flavor of the card just says, like, if you have a bunch of cards in your hand, and by the way, you will, just your opponent just doesn't have stuff, and their tempo is just completely gone, and you just swing for game.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's over. Amazing card.
Next up, we have Aspiring Diva. 1 blue, 3/4. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal a chant from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom and you reckon any order. Banish this card. Produce blue. Spend this will only to play chants.
I have a vendetta against the Moo cards from this cluster. And this card is a playable Mifa.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank God. I don't have to look at that god-awful Moo card ever again when I want to play this deck.
It's just a better blue Percival, right?
That too.
It's just a better blue Percival.
In so many situations, it would be better than blue Percival. Percival gives you a little bit of access to things like a Regalia package if you want that. It also digs 2 cards deeper. So there's that to consider as well.
In Veer, it's better than
in Veer, this card, absolutely. You just never play Percival. Not that I did anyway, right? This card is just
but like
straight
you play
gas.
this.
You definitely play this. Absolutely.
Sure.
More will? Hell yeah.
Yeah, just banks it for another turn.
At this point, as far as Veer goes, I don't see a reason to ever play Resonators other than this or Reign of Snakes. Or Priscia, I guess, if you're going that route.
Melfi was there too.
Because she counts for Melody if you hit Age of Rain. So
true.
And you could use this to pay for a Melfi.
Yeah, but see, if you're on the real good strategy like me, and I'm thinking Eris is ISM on Force of Wind,
yes, that's true.
You're going for Forbidden Malice combo. You're not.
There is a good card for Forbidden Malice combo that got spoiled, but we're going to talk about in a bit. So that's a thing.
You make your opponent draw their entire deck, Paul,
and burn themselves out, and burn them in the process.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. Veer burn coming at you soon.
Yep,
we'll talk about it here in a minute. Okay, now we have
hit me up.
yeah. So. Our good friends. So here's the thing. Here's a great moment, right? For the longest time, Ruler School has been the only one to get exclusive spoilers. For the longest time, that was because we were the only ones doing consistent foul content, and that was also because of the longest time I Spy didn't have the best relationship with its media, like presences and stuff like that. Over the span of the past year, they have been significantly working to change that, evidenced by the videos that they're doing and everything else. And Alejandro and his crew, the guys over at formerly 7 Kings of the Land and now only Fow TCG, the YouTube channel, they also got given 5 exclusive spoilers. So congrats, guys, on that. That's always awesome to see. And so link to them is in the description below. Absolutely go give them a subscribe, show them some love and help boost the algorithm. So they got some moons some fire moons. So we have
Yes,
Glorious
we
Little
did.
Moon. 1 red, 1 colorless moon. J/Resonators you control gain +2/+2 for each card you discarded this turn. And on enter, you may discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. That's a cloud effect.
Yep.
Do you know what then gets to
Rikage
flip?
is a thing now?
Do you remember what? Hold on. Do you remember what gets to flip for free when we put a moon into the field for the turn?
Little Red.
Little Red the Wolf Girl, who would then come in with this massive stat boost.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just
It started
casually
as a meme, quickly becoming not so much a meme.
1800 attack. Super easy.
800 defense, burns something for 800 when she comes in. No big deal. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, that crazy.
This one's good.
Absolutely crazy.
But I'm waiting on the next one.
Next up, we have the Immortal Little Moon. 1 red, enter. This card deals 600 damage to target player or J/Resonator.
Oh yeah.
Why are you talking? Why are you
Good
excited about this one?
old-fashioned burn damage. That's all I care
Oh,
about.
oh, sure.
The moon is
Fair.
so hot, it burns me. Ah.
Yep. Get out the sunscreen.
The moon screen.
The moon
Hey,
screen, my
oh.
bad.
Moon screen.
That's no moon. That's the sun.
Next up, we have Cursed Warlord. First off, the artwork on this guy is sick. I just really like the artwork on this card. 1 black, 4/4 human. Enter. Target armament sub-ruler you control gains when this card deals damage to a J/Resonator. Destroy that J/Resonator until end of turn. Pay 1 black. Recover target armament or high armament sub-ruler you control. That's a continuous ability that doesn't have a once per turn, and it's as long as that card is on the field.
And it's
Yep.
also very bad unless you have exactly bow and arrow.
Correct. But also neat.
Which a less than 20%, actually, yeah, less than 17% chance of having it.
How dare they power creep Magic Crest Fire?
Exactly.
By making it a moon? Is that
Making it a moon.
that's how they power crept it?
Don't you know that moons are the fairy tales of the addition type?
It's so true.
Man has a point. Man has a point. Because Magic Crest of Fire was also 600.
Yep.
Could hit players, if I remember correctly, right?
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's just the power creep is that it's a moon.
Well, no,
Like,
call
nobody
it one
played this
less as
card.
well.
Let's make it a moon. You're a genius.
This is the card that is. Oh, that's right. Magic Crest of Fire randomly did cost 2 fire. That was the reason why it was so weird, because it you wanted to play Fire Crest then Fire Dude, but their costs were swapped.
Mhm.
I do remember this now. Thank you. So yes, we made it cheaper. This is Roamer of the Crimson Moon, 1 black, 1 colorless vampire, 6/6. Whenever your opponent draws a card, your opponent loses 400 life, and you can pay 1 black and discard this card, and you, the player, gain. Whenever your opponent draws a card, your opponent loses 400 life until end of turn.
Love this card.
This is why we're talking about Forbidden Malice, because you just discard it and then force your opponent to draw 10 cards, and you kill them.
Yep.
Also,
Looking at
really
looking
good
at the
against
necklace
Hyde.
right now.
Also really good against Hyde.
Yeah.
This card is insane against Hyde. Because it's just pay black, discard it.
Like, oh, you're...
In response to their pink spider. I'm going to put 3 cards face down and then draw 3. Cool, take 12.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm actually really glad they have these cards that are really, really, really making drawing the entire deck really painful. I really love that because for so long it's kind of just been
Unchecked.
unpunished.
Card advantage
Yeah,
has been
unchecked, yeah.
unchecked for a while. Yeah, for sure.
This eats Veer, by the way. Just eats
Oh,
her to
yeah,
death.
absolutely.
Just done. Oh, you want to combo off? Try and
Love
combo.
being under. Yeah, this is a very cool card. I like this card a lot. I'm glad it got printed.
Yeah, me too.
This will decide a lot of Hyde mirrors too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It'll decide a lot of Hyde mirrors without caring which Hyde is on Red Child versus White Child.
You know, I had a conversation with Roderick about the, what was the white-red card for Messiah that lets you burn your opponent for cards in their hand?
Oh yeah, the
I can't
I get what
remember.
you're saying.
You know what I'm
Judgment.
talking about, but it's
Divine
really,
Judgment or whatever it's
really,
called.
really funny watching your opponent dump cards from their hand in response to something like this.
So that they could just like try to get through it before.
They try to draw more cards before that effect resolves. Yeah.
And then next up we have the super rare that was given to them, which is always great. We got Rumsfeld. That was our exclusive super. Next up we have the Ark's Gears Grail. 2 void treasury item Gears card. Mythic. Players cannot recover more than 1 magic stone they control during their recovery phase.
I hear Winter Orb is a pretty good card.
I was gonna say. We found a way to get Winter Orb in Force of Will.
I've never played it. I've never played the Winter's Orb. I have heard many a story about it at this point. This is a very cool card, obviously, for the Gears, because they have a lot of mana dorks, like 3 Wise Men, recycling gears and stuff like that. This is cool. I like this a lot. Yeah. This is very cool.
I do like how it's just accidentally a treasury item, because now Aristella plus Kaguya 1 or Kaguya 2 is going to be very funny.
Why would you play it with Kaguya 1? Just because it's another treasury item, I guess?
Yeah, but...
I'm sorry, hold on. You just told me that we could play 5 challenges with Aristella.
Yeah.
That's a blue card.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Paul.
Yeah.
Still stand by Aristella 1 with 5 challenges in this card.
There is a reason I don't top events. It's because I have these harebrained, stupid ideas.
Oh, no.
And then can't pilot them or build them properly. But it's up here.
This is not good.
That is true. It does make revealing Squirrel feel a lot better, right? That's pretty true. It gives Squirrel a lot more purpose for Ainz, because Ainz can reveal Squirrel and then gets a second recovery stone, right? Because that's in draw phase, right? Because you recover during draw, before the draw, and then you can recover for turn. That's pretty neat. I do like that a lot. But why Mythic? I don't know. Lore. That's all I got.
I guess it's so your opponent doesn't have to deal with more than one of them.
It doesn't matter regardless.
Maybe to make it so that if you answer one, you don't have to try to answer multiple at the same time, so that you can try to get out from underneath that stack faster, I guess.
It feels like a flavor tag to me, honestly.
Yeah,
it feels more like a flavor tag, because it's supposed to be the Holy Grail, but Gears.
I'm a little disappointed it's not a regalia.
Stop.
Yes,
so next up we have Roar of Dark Blessing. 1 cost the X discard card for black. Your opponent removes X cards in their hand from the game. Remember when I said that Olivia Brad with Invitation to Purgatory might not be a meme? This card makes it not a meme. Olivia on the draw can, before you take a game state action, get Invitation to Purgatory cast, and then have all 4 Brads in their hand, and then go into their turn and cast this, and say, you don't have 4 cards.
I'm going to need you to explain. Whether it's now or off stream, I'm going to need
you
to explain that.
I can do it now. So, I'm going second. I'm Olivia. Okay? Cool. I have a coin. It's blue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to Goddard for Dolly before... There's still a priority sequence before your draw phase, even though you don't draw for turn as first turn player. So before any of that, I'm going to go Goddard Dolly, get Dolly, Dolly produce blue, coin plus blue, Thunder Empress's Strike, mode to cast a 2-drop water chant from my deck. I'm going to cast Invitation to Purgatory and mill all 4 Brads out of my deck.
Doesn't work.
It does work.
It does not work.
It bypasses timing. It's a 2-cost water chant.
Invitation to Purgatory?
The casting time.
Oh, I think you mean
Invitation to Purgatory. Not Invitation to Purgatory. Invitation to New Valhalla.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, wait a second. Other invitation card.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Okay, now we're making sense. Thank you.
Invitation to New Valhalla. Get then, all 4 Brads removed out of the game, and then be like, cool. At the end of your turn, bring him back to my hand and go from there.
Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense.
Sorry, I was thinking the other invitation card, the one that actually saw play ever.
Like, why are we milling Brad? That's so confusing.
I was thinking like, I was thinking about the other invitation card that actually ever saw play, the Invitation to Purgatory, as opposed to Invitation to New Valhalla.
We can't forget
the good invitation.
old invitation.
Yeah, but like,
which by the way,
like that's a lie, right?
Is useful.
Like that's a lie.
Which is what Olgaria's letter was. It was the invitation to Valhalla.
Yeah. Like Olivia Brad, like not nothing when this card was printed.
What do you do with that?
What do I do with that?
Other than empty their hand.
I get rid of. So here's the thing. I go to my turn. You have 5 cards in hand, right? You take your first turn. We go to me. I call Stone. I remove 4 Brads out of my hand. I get rid of 4 out of your 5 cards. I still have the rest of my hand, and then the Brads come back to my hand at the end of the turn.
Yep.
I'm doing okay.
You may remove X darkness cards in your hand from the game rather than pay this card's cost.
Brad counts as all colors when he's.
He counts as all colors. Okay.
Yikes.
We're building it for the channel.
Yeah, I am.
We're building Olivia Brad for the channel. Yeah.
It's the only way Brad's ever going to be playable, isn't it? Not specifically this Brad, but the character Brad.
You're probably not wrong.
It's the only way.
Seems about right.
It's a cool card though. Like it was one of the X cards that I was like, I wanted to see that come in to like be like, okay, what are we doing here? Because a lot of the other, like the cancel that was revealed with Brad is like, meh. The destroying the light cards is like, meh, because they have to like commit to an attack and everything else. But the blue and the black are just like, I'm gonna just do this.
Now my question is will this similar line of thought also be able to kill the opponent when we inevitably see the red one and are holding Raging Messiah in our hand as well?
Maybe. Amnesia Brad is the deck you're most excited for. Yeah, for sure. Okay, last card of the night. This is Cursed Cocoon, 3 black edition. You may play this card from your graveyard as long as there are no other cards in your graveyard by only paying 1 black. Players cannot gain life at the beginning of each turn. That player discards a card, banishes a resonator, and loses 6 life.
I foresee Order Athenia being able to abuse this quite well.
I foresee a combo ban of this card with Mikage Rhea out the frickin' gate.
Planting Beans is the same thing. And
but Planting Beans is not quick cast.
Yeah. It also puts a card in your graveyard.
Yeah, but like,
and then it itself goes to the graveyard, so then you can't get the discount.
Yeah, but then Planting Beans doesn't work with this card because then Planting Beans would also be in the graveyard.
That's why my brain went to Order Athenia, because she's all about grave manipulation.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Certainly a neat card for her. And she also has Jade Rulers, right? So she doesn't care about banishing. Yep. She's just gonna have a Jade Ruler on the field at all time. This card's neat. Some people were like, "Oh, why wasn't it a cocoon?" And I was like, "Stop." Just stop.
There ain't no more cocoon. Cocoon is.
Why did you wake up and choose violence today?
For sure.
It's a cool card to sack off a Dark Alice, I would say. Probably like I think like a Foof deck.
Yeah, so like for me, like Blue Foonf is already playing Mikage Rhea. So hear me out, right?
You have to
Blue Foonf is already playing Mikage Rhea because we want to send Castle of Beatrice, but like this is another good card for us to send. It is also honestly really nice for Foonf to just recycle his freaking demons. Like, because he'll just like sack off his own demon, get blessing on something for free, use Castle of Beatrice to bring it back to his hand, recast it, force you to banish another resonator and another discard a card and lose another 600 life, and I'll just gain the 600 back. Like, Blue Foonf actually kind of likes this card. Like, he'd play it.
Yep.
I can't tell you.
But if you kill Mikage Rhea, the card can't be played from the. I mean, yeah, for sure. It's not like foolproof. You'd play it as a one of in Blue Foonf alongside Castle of Beatrice to just be like, if I stick it, I stick it. If not, whatever.
I cannot tell you how good it makes me feel to hear Blue insert ruler here, because that's been happening a lot lately.
Yeah.
It has.
Oh,
Yeah.
It
our,
has.
our life gain actually wouldn't work because players can't gain life.
That's fine. I'm still gonna
Yeah, I
drain my
was gonna say
opponent.
I think it's still okay. Yeah,
I'm gonna drain my
Continue.
opponent a lot faster, and my
Right.
life total is probably gonna be higher than theirs
Yeah.
anyway.
That's like the
absolutely.
thing
Because
that
I'm
makes
playing-
me wonder, like, if it is even good in Athenia, because like her whole game plan is either combo you or I'm going to stick a big thing on the board and just swing in and kill you. So I don't know how. I think this like lowers the threshold of that a little bit. So it's a tool. But
It also just like just exists, right? Of just like it hits me too, but like every single turn, you and I are gonna be like I'm just putting a clock on the game, right? Of, like
Absolutely.
every single turn, we're gonna start hitting lower and
Yeah,
lower and lower.
This is a playable version of Collapsing World from Alice.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a playable
Absolutely.
collapsing world for sure.
this brings me back to the days of black flat control.
Mm,
It's just mono black, and you just
Dear
drain
heavens.
everybody. Oh man.
yeah, seems a fantastic way to end the game while sitting on a protected eternal unknown mother goose. Just like-
Absolutely.
I don't care about my life being less than 0.
I'm just gonna sit
Right. Exactly.
Can't kill my own mother goose. I don't care.
figure it out.
And then when my eternal gets banished, or my neverend gets banished at the beginning of the turn, cool. I'll buy it back with Castle of Beatrice, recast it, and then just keep going. It's fine. I don't care. Yeah, this is a cool card to end on for the night. Like, can we? This whole week was so. I just truly cannot get over the fact that they just like, oh hey format. Like,
I know. It was the best birthday gift they could have given me.
yeah.
Happy
Like-
birthday, Babatunde Day.
Thank you, guys.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Well, it's tomorrow. About
Happy
3
early
hours later.
birthday.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thanks, guys.
But yeah, this set overall is just looking really, really fun. It has me very confused for how we're gonna do side event or for how we're gonna do pre-release. But I will say at this point in time, well, I will say this:
Yeah.
it doesn't feel as weird as last set was going to be with pre-release because it's not like so heavily dependent on like the keywords. The only thing there is like the armament sub-rulers or whatever, the cards that like rely on armament sub-rulers. So maybe we have to like house rule that like you can't start the game with an armament sub-ruler, but if you play an armament sub-ruler card, you could get one random, like, you know, like a play like the red contract or the red clown, you could get one randomly to start making use of it. Like, this is pretty traditional FOW of like, let's house rule some stuff to make pre-release work, but it certainly feels like it's going to be less work this time around than it was last set, which is great.
On this note of pre-release, I would like to say that the Arcana rulers are not a horrible idea for pre-release proxies. Because then if people pull rulers, they can just play them.
No.
Pre-release is
Hard
already
no.
a format that says, hey, I pulled 12 infinite matchsticks in my pre-release opening. I'm going to play all 12 of them. Or, hey, I opened 12 of any good normal. I'm going to play all of them.
I've won a pre-release without pulling a single super. So
There you go.
Nice.
it's not just pull the best cards to
Flex.
Exactly.
I will say,
win. Just gotta get a good stretch in.
Just play Clockwork Magic
I'll-
Furnace.
I hope for the new format, ABC format, they have like some type of event, like a party event or something. I don't know, like some.
I'm telling you what,
pre-release
man.
party,
That's why
yeah.
I think it feels to me like the launch of it is going to be the side events at Worlds, right?
Okay.
It feels like that's what they're going to be really hitting it hard on. And it's one of the reasons why I really want to, like, we're going to be bringing our camera and stuff to be able to try to get footage of that
Right.
when we go to Worlds. Whether it's like them letting us stream the side event, which I would really love to do. I would really love for them to let us stream it. Or even just get recordings of it or something. Because I really think that's going to be a lot of fun. And they seem prepared for it because they said they're going to have demo decks available, right? So they probably will have like built demo decks available. Oh, this is one other thing that's very, very cool that doesn't feel like legitimately feels directly like the fastest turnaround to community feedback that I've ever seen in FOW. When they announced Worlds, they announced the contract participation promos, right? And people in the comments of that video, of the announcement of like those promos, said, those are cool. It's really unfortunate that like other players won't be able to get those in some kind of way. And then the very next video, they said, we've decided to make these promos for Worlds stamped specifically for Worlds, and these art versions of these contracts will be made available for others later on. Like,
Dope.
within 2 videos,
Dope,
right?
yep.
Thank you.
Like,
In
crazy.
real time.
You
Ice
rock.
version of an SLD. Secret layer drop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, hey, you'll
very,
get these
very,
cards eventually.
very cool. I like it a lot. Just got to try to get those fancy versions. Just gotta get, just like, hey, you want your fancy versions? You want your fancy versions? Okay, give me. It's me. Just like people show up to the B&B and are like, Jeremy, where are our cards?
Huh? Weird.
Crazy.
Sure you didn't,
Anyway, I gotta get to the airport. Bye.
Right.
You didn't like leave them somewhere?
No,
Runs. Runs out the window.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeremy, why are all your bags packed?
No reason.
Right.
No reason. Bye.
Okay. lot of
Jerry
fun today,
becomes
though,
Joker
guys.
from PS5. Right.
I have a gun. Why?
Oh my
What?
God.
Why do you have a gun?
How did you get that into Japan? Oh my
I don't know.
Illegally.
For the record, I do not ever want to own a gun. Just put that out there. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff this week. We have just to kind of some wrap things up. If any of this has been interesting to you, I hope so. Leave us a like and subscribe and all that jazz. If you haven't already got out your pre-orders for Odyssey Games for this new set, go ahead and check that out in the description down below. They're going to have availability for that for sure. And you can also check the link in the description below to check out ABC format, as well as to sign up for the May 20th Discord event where we're giving away that dope playmat. And that is how Jeremy got banned from every event. No, I am not. No, I'm not going to steal anything from anyone. Any cards that I obtain will be obtained through purchasing them or trading for them, all above board. I do not endorse stealing or threatening or anything of the sort. Not endorsed. 100% don't do it.
He didn't mention extortion.
Don't extort people either.
I was gonna say.
Don't extort. Nothing illegal. Trade, purchase. That's
What about
it.
consensual hostages?
No, don't even know what that is. Don't.
They're just like, no, we'll go along with it. We'll help you get your cards, and then just $50 each.
Right.
No. Anyway,
This just gets worse.
feature
It's
match.
great.
Feature match for this week is what is the feature match for this week? It is Oct versus Sherry Olympians. It's the feature match for this week, so tune in for that on Wednesday. It's a pretty fun, spicy list. And then Paul will have a tournament report for the GPs that happened over the past couple weeks coming up soon. A lot of events happened this past weekend, past 2 weekends. A lot of diversity,
Really?
a lot of cool stuff got played overseas. It's going to be a good time. So thank you all so much for joining us. And until next time, I have been DMO73, and I've been joined, as always, by Paul Reisman.
Bye, everybody.
Joined by Ryan Lilly, King Pearlshine,
Peace out, folks.
and Babatunde.
See you next time, Cowboys.
Class dismissed.